Back at it again at A Shorts Productions. So I'm here today with Jay Figgyy Productions, or just Jay Figgyy.
It used to be Jay Figgyy Productions, but that's just Jay Figgyy now, 2 G's and 2 Y's.
And you can check out his YouTube in the towel section below. Also, we're going to be having a movie review about Spider-Man Far From Home. And we're going to have a little bit of a theory afterwards about what's going to happen after Spider-Man is exposed. Coming right up. Okay, Jay, so we're going to talk about a little bit of the likes, maybe dislikes about the film. For me, I don't really have much dislikes, but here's my first like. I like the Mysterio-ness of the film. It was very mysterious. You know how Mysterio is kind of like a villain? Mm-hmm. Regularly in the film, he is... regularly in the comics, he wasn't as portrayed as a villain at first in the film, and it was kind of mysterious to me in that way. What do you say about that?
I think it's funny how, like, in the trailers they make it mysterious to you, like, oh, this random dude is a new hero. No, he's a villain. And I think it's really cool, like, scenes and all the things that they've done for Mysterio in this. Like, he's a really good villain that was portrayed in the movie.
I think so as well. I feel like this was kind of one of the best antagonists that we've seen in the Spider-Mans at all. Like, overall, this was one of the best antagonists of Spider-Man, well, portrayed at least. And I think this is also kind of a branch to lead out to the Sinister Six. Though, before we get into that, we must kind of talk about a little bit further and deeper into the film, and more importantly about the 2 end credit scenes afterwards. We see Spider-Man getting exposed by Mysterio, and what do you think is going to happen after that?
What I think is going to happen is that I think overall they need to find a way to clear Spider-Man's name, or Peter Parker's name, because he's not bad, but Mysterio shouts it out as if he is the villain and that Mysterio is a good guy, because overall in this entire movie, Mysterio just wants to be the good guy. He wants to be the good guy, he just doesn't do it in the correct ways because he's putting terror into the lives of other people with the elementals, and he's fake. Like, he's just a faker, and he wants to be like Iron Man because Iron Man took away from all of him and the people that are working with him. Yeah. And
so it's kind of like a big revenge deal that was going on there. Mm-hmm. And not only that, he made the video, but we also had someone that we know that was in the Daily Bugle.
Who is Spider-Man? He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante. A public menace. What's he doing on my front page?
Mr. Jameson, there's a page 6 problem.
We have a page 1 problem. Shut up.
Yeah, what do you say about that dude?
Well, first of all, I'm excited that they brought James Jonah Jameson back from the first couple Spider-Man movies. It's the same dude, and, like, I don't know, everywhere I see him, like regardless if it's the comic book, video games, or whatever, he looks the same. Yeah. And so it's just, like, it's super cool. But like, in this movie, in this, like, cinematic universe, I don't feel like he's working. I don't think he's working for the Daily Bugle. And I don't feel like he's against Spider-Man specifically, but he's not for Spider-Man either. Yeah, and I like how they're not going off the comics books, like exactly, and they're kind of switching it up on us and portraying it however the director and the writers kind of see fit, and kind of not drastically change the characters, but kind of puts their own little spin on it. Like MJ, for example.
I am Spider-Man. No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
That's a huge, like, deal to me, because, like, I feel like when you scroll through social media, you see a lot of people just downing these movies. Oh, it's not like the comic book. Oh, it's not like this. It's not like that. And I personally feel like each individual thing, comic book has its own universe, cinematic universe has its own universe, everybody has their own specific universe. So if they want to take the story a different way, take the story a different way, so that it's not easy to, like, figure out what it's called.
Yeah,
it's not
predictable.
Predictable. It's not predictable.
Which is like my first like. It's not as it's is mysterious. And Mysterio needs to be mysterious, and in that way, he was very mysterious. Not just like in the video games and the comic books, he was straight villain, nothing but a villain. He was mysterious, and that sold it for me as the movie. And then we go in even deeper in the second credit scene. We see that it is actually the Skrulls that was portraying both
Nick Fury and his partner.
And his partner. I absolutely loved it because it makes a bunch more sense that Nick Fury was not
able to stop what Mysterio did.
Exactly. Nick Fury isn't that gullible, and though I gotta give it to the Skrull to being a good actor because he kind of did sound a lot like Nick Fury in the movie.
He did a lot like Nick Fury, and I could see how like it would fool like the audience because like like Nick Fury is accepting these heroes. We lost Iron Man, so like he's probably looking to this guy like, okay, we have a new person here that we could use for our Avengers team or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's why he trusts him. But like Nick Fury, if that was actually Nick Fury, he would have known something was up to begin with. Why is this dude randomly coming up out of nowhere?
Exactly.
At least that's what I think.
I think so as well, and it just makes a lot more sense that he wasn't there, but in a different galaxy. And what is it, like a new SHIELD agency that's going on in intergalactic space?
This dude's in space chilling.
He's in space, and how long has he been there? I mean, if he really was portrayed by the Skrull, that could have been long ago.
It could have been.
And which makes a whole bunch of sense, but also raises a lot of questions. And I feel like that end credit scene alone kind of starts Phase 4.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's just so much that could like happen within this phase, and Spider-Man being like Iron Man kind of was, like bringing that nostalgic feel back with like the Iron Man music and like the Iron Man actions and like you're starting this and getting exposed rather than exposing himself. He did get exposed, but everybody knows who he is, just like in Iron Man. Everybody knew that Iron Man is Tony Stark. It's nostalgic, and it leaves a lot of questions wondering what is actually going to happen, because the MCU is kind of just everywhere and random. Like you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't. And I loved how they brung Iron Man in the comparison of Iron Man and Spider-Man. The comparison of Tony and Peter was, I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know how they were going to portray Spider-Man to be the next Iron Man. I didn't know if I even was going to like it, but I feel like now watching the film, Peter deserved it.
Yeah, I love it because it's different. It's like all the past stuff, everybody's like, oh, you're just going to forget about Ben. No, it's just this is different. This is the MCU. Now his father figure is Iron Man, and he lost Iron Man.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? It's just like another like universe of a comic. If you lose somebody, he loses somebody in every single thing that we see. You know what I'm saying? And so it was Iron Man.
I know. I definitely see that, and we also lost Iron Man. I feel like that's why it's so different for us. Everybody who has conflict with the situation is because we grew up with Tony Stark, and we grew up with him first grabbing the glove and having the music go on, and now we see Peter doing it, and we're just like, well, I don't know. This is a 16-year-old kid. I don't know if he can really live up to the Tony Stark legacy. But all in all, I feel like if anyone's going to kind of portray the new Tony Stark, Iron Man, I feel like it would be him. Did you realize that in the beginning of Far From Home, it was in the beginning of Far From Home, we see Spider-Man in front of a whole bunch of people with his suit on, his Iron Man suit, and he is waving to everyone, and he has Aunt May next to him. It's the same thing about, I think, in Iron Man 2, where Tony Stark is in front of people with his suit on, and he's waving at people, and
very nostalgic.
I feel like that was kind of foreshadowing Peter Parker is already kind of like Tony Stark, and now he just has to have the Spider-Man kind of like Iron Man, and I feel like his Peter Tingle helped him out with that.
Wow, it's Peter Tingle.
It's Peter Tingle. I think that was pretty good. I think they kind of had a character arc with him learning how to use his senses wisely,
Mm-hmm.
and him not even be able to dodge a banana in the beginning of it when you remember.
Yeah, I remember that. I actually like that. It was pretty cool. Like I feel like it was revolved around his spider senses, and so like. And that's like what he had to use to beat Mysterio.
Exactly.
It's just like, all right, you know, come on, Peter Tinkle.
Yeah.
And then like boom, like he was able to do all this really cool cinematic stuff.
Exactly.
With his spider senses.
Talk about the cinematic. I think the graphics were amazing. I feel like they. I really feel like they portrayed the world around what Spider-Man sees and allowing us to see what he's seeing in a very imaginative way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so confusing. It was realistic.
Yes.
And like you wouldn't know whether or not you're seeing what Mysterios want you to see, or what the Skulls want you to see, or if it's what Peter Parker is actually seeing. And I feel like that was making it more real for me.
That was freaking cool, dude.
And that being said, I don't really think I have any likes. I mean, dislikes about the film.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to dislike about this film. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I don't think there should have been any more or any less. It just does raise a question for me. If the Skull was in Captain Marvel, means that it's been a while for him, the Skull, knowing Fury. That means that he could have been portraying Fury for as long as we've known Fury. Mm-hmm. And it could make very much sense for maybe a theory going on later that the Skull could have been what we see in the Jedi in Star Wars, because Samuel L. Jackson played both Nick Fury and a Jedi in Star Wars, but there's no way that Nick Fury could have done both. Another theory going up. Just letting you know. You already know it's in my head. You already know I got it. The question of the day. What do you got for us, Jay?
All right. So the question of the day. What do you think is going to happen in the next Spider-Man movie?
All right. And without further ado, just let that be known in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get right back with you, kind of reply on that. I'd just like to say, have a blessed day.
See ya.
All right. Thank you so much for coming out. Oh my gosh.
Oh, come on, man. Give me that love, bro. Oh, hey.
Right. No. It's like, it's business, so.
All right. You want some business?
Business.
There we go. It feels so weird to hear that.
Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever. Yeah.
Except I'm Spider-Man. Yeah.
Spider-Conda. No.
No.
Sorry.
No.